Hello there, very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to the weekend edition on News First. We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo, and I'm Joel Outscoon. We start off with a look at your headlines for this evening. Farmers will not be less destitute in light of political gains. Statement from the President. 220 documents at the Finance Ministry missing. Tense situation at a demonstration in Mathura. Flights entering Sri Lanka thoroughly searched. Starting off with news from the President's diary, President Maithripala Sirisena is speaking in Madhuragiri said that the farmers in the country will not be made helpless for political gains.
The President was speaking at the event to present land ownership deeds to the agrarian families that will be settled in Bisopura, Madhuragiri under the Moragahakanda Kaluganga project. 28 families were presented with deeds today. The President added that 12,000 such families will be settled in the future.
අපි නව රජයේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති විදියට කෘෂිකර්මාන්තයේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් අලුත් පියවර රාශියක් අරගත්තා.
The new government's policy saw a number of measures being taken with regard to agriculture. Some matters come under criticism. It must be made clear that what must be done is not to please the farming community for political gains, but to strengthen the economy and create a healthy society. The people of this country must not be made victims of catchphrases. One must not make any political advantage under the guise of it. We must work to save the people from such a situation.
අපි බලන්න ඕනේ අපේ ජනතාව මේ තත්ත්වයෙන් කොහොමද මුදවා ගන්න කියලා හිතන්න.
Well, now the Sri Lanka Air Force has decided to conduct a complete search for flights that enter Sri Lanka. The Air Force says that this measure was taken to ensure the safety of the passengers. The Sri Lanka Air Force announced that any airline can request them to conduct a search on their flights that enter Sri Lanka.
The Air Force has beefed up security in the wake of the worldwide terrorist threats. Commander of the Sri Lanka Air Force, Air Marshal Gaganabudat Singhal, also inspected the airport yesterday. Sri Lanka has paid special attention on its airport security following the attack at the Brussels airport on Tuesday.
Security at the Katnaik International Airport has been increased. In addition to the airport security, military personnel have also been deployed for security.
National security was given more concern following the statements made that the ISIS attacks in Paris were not the end, and also Sri Lanka receiving an unknown phone call.
It was reported that there was such a phone call. No matter what phone call we receive, we have strengthened the national security. There will be no issue. The military is prepared and we will not allow anyone to undermine national security.
And moving overseas, Belgium's Interior Minister and Justice Minister have offered their resignation in the wake of the Brussels terror attacks.
Interior Minister and Justice Minister had offered to step down over the embarrassing revelations that they were warned about one of the attackers who struck the capital on Tuesday. However, the Belgian Prime Minister has rejected their offers. At least 31 people have been killed and nearly 200 people have been injured in 3 major explosions at the city's airport and a central metro station. Speaking last night, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan said the country had deported one of the attackers who was caught trying to sneak over to the border into Syria last year. He was deported to the Netherlands and President Erdogan said he had warned both countries about him. It comes as Belgian police continue to hunt for the unknown third bomber at the airport who fled when his bomb failed to detonate. CCTV images have been released showing the man wearing a distinctive white coat, glasses and a black hat. Police are appealing for information about the attacker after a stock of bomb-making materials was found at an apartment used by the attackers.
As mentioned on the headlines this evening, tensions soared today between a group of graduates and Sri Lanka Freedom Party supporters who visited the Southern Province Minister of Education.
The Southern Province Graduates Collective had organised a demonstration opposite the Sanasa Hall in Mathura, where a Sri Lanka Freedom Party members' meeting was taking place this morning. The demonstration was to protest against the discrepancies that took place in making teaching appointments. The demonstrators responded in the following manner towards a group that was leaving the hall after the conclusion of the meeting.
Meanwhile, attending a public meeting in the Ratugala area, Minister News1st said that a minor group is trying to mislead the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
Remember that our journey is not one that would be a mistake. The leaders are not trying to get votes after going behind people, sell other people's names and wrestling mud. The leaders want to complete their goals through their visions. There are individuals who do not know these things. There are many in the SLFP now. They are playing cricket and football in the playgrounds we constructed. We constructed those playgrounds with many hardships.
Well, now assets of the Rajapaksa family have come to the limelight once again following the statement made yesterday by parliamentarian Ranjit Soisa.
We asked the government to prove the existence of $1.8 billion in the bank accounts of Mahinda Rajapaksa or any member of his family. We are prepared to dissolve the joint opposition if so. We have shown what will be accepted. We are too decent. There is a saying. We have handed the work of the police to the police. This is the work of the police. We handed the work of the judiciary to the judiciary. Do not consider the fact that this is not being expedited by us as a weakness. If challenges like this are made, we would like to show what Mahinda Rajapaksa, the wife, Namal and all of them have against them. They collected every last cent that the country has, and after putting it in the pocket, they are asking where the money is. 220 files at our ministry are missing. Even the IMF is baffled.
The minister made these remarks at the opening of the Indo-Sri Lanka Shilpakala exhibition at the BMICH.
Still in local news this evening, Venerable Udwe Dhammalokotera appeared before the Criminal Investigations Department this morning.
Venerable Udwe Dhammalokotera appeared before the CID over a statement made over the demise of the late Most Venerable Maduluave Sobhitathera. The statement was made after inquiring into the facts. Do not blame us and point the finger at the Mahasangha and shy away from this situation. I responsibly state that there is a mystery in this matter and that all must support to reveal the details of this mystery.
Drug lord Vasantha Mendes, considered to be one of the largest drug peddlers in the south, who was arrested in Thailand recently, was brought to Sri Lanka today.
The Nigama Magistrates Court issued a red notice in 2013 enabling law enforcement to arrest Vasantha Mendes in any country. Law enforcement made a breakthrough and obtained information about this suspect in 2013 following the arrest of a Liberian national with 30 kilograms of heroin. Vasantha Mendes arrived at the Kottanayake International Airport at around 1:20 this morning and was handed over to the Police Narcotic Bureau. He was produced at the Nigamba courts, where detention orders were obtained. Investigations by the Police Narcotic Bureau had led to the arrest of a suspect along with 5 kilograms of heroin. Police said the suspect was arrested in Valisara last night while transporting heroin in a three-wheeler.
Welcome back. You're watching the weekend edition on Primetime News. Still in local news this evening, the 42nd annual convocation of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka took place today in Colombo.
A distinguished gathering presided over the event where the President-elect of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Jeffrey Alagaratnam, was officially inducted.
A vigilant bar is a great asset of the judiciary. The judiciary, as one of the chief organs of the state, cannot discharge its duties in the administration of justice without the total commitment and participation of its main component, namely the bar. It would not be wrong to say that the efficiency of judicial administration largely depends on the competence of the bar. I have to say this. I am very regretful to say that my office is inundated with complaints against lawyers for professional misconduct. As you all are well aware, the litigants by and large come from that class of society which is either ignorant or resourceless.
The bar is playing and has to play a greater role in governance and democracy. It has to be of greater service to society. Those in governance have manifested the intention to engage us as an independent professional body towards working together in the interests of good governance and democracy. It is my fervent hope that this support will not only continue but will grow from strength to strength. Together, nothing is impossible.
On a somber note, a police sub-inspector died while en route to conduct a raid in Chilao.
It was reported that last night this police sub-inspector was en route to raid an illegal brewery in the Nadigam area in Mugunuwatawana, which is located in Chilao. Our correspondent reported that the police sub-inspector was in pursuit of a suspect who was fleeing in a motorbike and his motorbike had crashed onto a tree. The police sub-inspector died on the spot and another police officer who was riding pillion was injured and was admitted to the Chilao General Hospital.
He served in an honest manner, and his passing is a great loss.
Police Sub-Inspector Abesh Alahakon, attached to the Chilao Police 3 years ago, hails from Kadugannawa. He always wanted to be a police officer. We worked to send him to the police. He worked for justice. The body of the late police sub-inspector Abesh Alahakon was taken to Kadugannawa this evening after it was placed at the Chilao police station for several hours.
The prevalent dry weather has affected many catchment areas, resulting in major reservoirs to dry up. News First, Chaturango Haparachi reports.
The country has not yet received sufficient rainfall since January. This has vastly affected the central hills. All the major reservoirs that are used for the generation of hydropower plants have turned into cracked dry land. The ruins of the Maskeli and Gangewat towns, which fell victim to the Mausakali reservoir in 1969, have resurfaced with reduced water levels. With reduced water levels, the pinnacles of the pagoda in Kotmale can now be witnessed. The devotees now arrived there at the shrine that has resurfaced with the aim of praying for rain. A puja took place today to bathe the Sri Mahabodhi from water obtained from the reservoirs that supply to the hydropower plants. The ritual was performed following a procession that commenced from the Ruwanveli Saya.
Most of the reservoirs do not aim at generating electricity. The Mahaveli reservoirs aim at providing drinking water. Secondly comes the agriculture, then comes electricity generation. With the dry weather, we will have to face certain issues. Therefore, it is paramount that we receive rains.
The dry weather has affected the lives of many across the island. Now, it has been reported that some areas are suffering from a water crisis.
The unbearable heat has affected a number of villages. A situation where water cannot be purchased for money has arisen in certain parts of the island.
According to international weather predictions, Sri Lanka will experience a dry weather pattern for the coming days. Satellite footage obtained from AccuWeather.com shows that Sri Lanka will experience clear skies.
2015 වසර කියලා කියන්නේ එල්නිනෝ වසරක්.
Year 2015 is an El Nino year. Why we call it an El Nino year is the air pathway in the atmosphere changes. So when this happens, we cannot expect rain at time periods where rain usually occur. The rain may occur when it is not needed. So due to lack of rain, a high temperature level prevails more than the usual. That's one of the main reasons. We mostly receive sun rays in April. So due to that, the usual temperature in April is high.
Does this situation mean that Sri Lanka could hope for rainfall in the near future? Or should we brace ourselves for a drought situation?
Now we are in the beginning of the intermonsoonal period. Until yesterday, we did not receive sufficient rain during this intermonsoonal season. But yesterday, especially Kalutara has received thunder showers during the evening. So we expect by the 27th, 28th and the 29th that other parts of the country would also receive rain.
Expert opinion notes that burning coal is a leading cause of smog, acid rain and toxic air pollution. Sri Lanka has drawn plans to construct a coal power plant in the country's east in Sampur. Would this lead to Sri Lanka being affected by acid rains in the future? Rain is a broad term referring to a mixture of wet and dry deposition from the atmosphere containing higher than normal amounts of nitric and sulfuric acids. The precursors or chemical forerunners of acid rain formation result from both natural sources and man-made sources, primarily emissions of sulfur dioxide known as SO2 and nitrogen oxides resulting from fossil fuel combustion. The most acidic rain falling in many parts of the world has a pH of about less than 3. Acid rain occurs when these gases react in the atmosphere with water, oxygen and other chemicals to form various acidic compounds. The result is a milder solution of sulfuric acid and nitric acid. Acid rains have destroyed forests in Germany, Poland, Western Europe and even Canada. Acid rains pose a severe threat to forests, animals and even humans. In West Germany alone, acid rains destroyed 2 million hectares of forest land. Can Sri Lanka too become a victim of acid rains due to coal power plants like Sampur?
The emissions will be carried across to the north central province and be deposited there. And all the heavy metals, the ash, will undoubtedly have an impact on the agricultural productivity of the area, on the biodiversity and also the cultural sites. I think some environmentalists have warned of the impact of the acid rain on iconic monuments such as the Srima Bodhi and even the Aukana Buddha, the Namalrena. And I think these monuments, these cultural monuments have been in existence for thousands of years. And do we really want them to be destroyed?
Experts point out that earth can become infertile due to acid rains. When acid rains mixes with water in rivers and water springs, the acid scale in the water would increase, affecting all aquatic life. China has decided to close down all coal power plants in Beijing by 2016, while the USA has already closed down a coal power plant that generated 4,677 megawatts of electricity. Britain has come to a decision to close down all its coal power plants by the year 2025.
Why we are going into another coal-fired power plant is quite strange. We should look at sustainability, we should look at our resource base, we should look at putting things in place in Sri Lanka, even if it's we have an energy crisis, we need to generate more power, but we can't do it at the cost of our environment, of our future, of the future health of our children and the well-being of people who live in this country.
Victory is achieved by overcoming all obstacles, how difficult the journey may be. A student who sat for the GCE ordinary level at a time when the Hulandawa waterway was overflowing on the day of the examination has achieved top results. On the 16th of December 2015, the Hulandawa waterway began to overflow, obstructing the only path that Tharushi Madhushani had to take to sit for the GCE ordinary level examination. The footbridge that was set across the waterway was washed away by the gushing waters. It was a group led by Colonel Priyankara Ube Sirivardhana, the Assistant Director of the Mathura District DMC, that came to the rescue of Tharushi Madhushani.
අවස්ථාව මගහැරේ කියලා ලොකු.
On that day, we were afraid that we would lose the opportunity to sit for the examination. Since there was no way for us to get across, we asked for help. The police and the lifeguards came and dispatched an inflatable tube for us to get us across. They even got us additional time to sit for the examination.
අපිට වෙනම වෙලාවකුත් අරන් දුන්නා විභාගෙ ලියන්න.
Today, Tarushi Madhushani can smile after facing such a situation as she passed the ordinary level examination with 3 A passers, 3 B passers and 2 C passers.
විශේෂයෙන් සිරස මාධ්‍යයට
It was the citizen media and the village Grama Niladhari officer that supported us a lot.
The parents of this girl make an appeal to assist the village in overcoming other challenges.
The bridge falls victim to the smallest of floods. You cannot walk across. This brings us a lot of difficulty. All we ask for is a bridge.
There are no facilities to go to school. There is no bridge. The existing bridge always falls victim to floods. All we ask is for a bridge.
When the results of the GCE ordinary level examination that was held last December are analysed, the results for the maths subject have not seen any drawback compared to the previous years. However, the results in maths of many rural schools are very poor as these schools do not have sufficient teachers for the subject. Despite having a sufficient number of teachers, if the school authorities make arbitrary decisions and if their hierarchy also permits the actions, it is the students who have to face the brunt of this. This is clearly evident from the maths subject results at Dharmapala College, Kottawa. The principal of the school, the former director of Jayawardhanapura zone, currently holding the position of the additional secretary at the Ministry of Education, the current persons holding the post of director must be held accountable for this result. This is because these 3 persons have been engaging in a tussle with a maths subject teacher at Dharmapala College, who was also awarded as the teacher who brought the best maths results for the school since 2010. This tussle that started in March last year had lasted for several months. This is because the said teacher was transferred on 6 occasions without any specific reason. The principal ensured that the teacher was not taking part in any academic activity for these 6 months. On the 9th of September last year, a complaint filed by this teacher against the injustice caused to him was taken up by the Human Rights Commission. During the hearing, the said group of persons accepted that there was no wrong committed by the said maths teacher and that the transfer had no basis at all. On that day, the respondents agreed to allow this maths teacher to continue to serve at Dharmapala College and he be granted the timetable to teach maths for ordinary level students. However, this teacher has not been given a timetable to teach any students, let alone the ordinary level. The result of this action by persons who act as if the school belongs to them is that 104 students who face the GCE ordinary level examination failing the maths subject. This is double the fail rate compared to the previous year and is worst ever result recorded in the school after 13 years. Haven't the group, including the principal, played with the lives of the children in their game of hurting a school teacher? Should persons like this be allowed to serve in the education sector? Minister of Education of the Western Province, this is over to you.
It is said the present is the reflection of the past. The trail followed by Newsfirst in search of historic ancestral settlements in Sri Lanka leads us to more new and dangerous locations. The Avina, located in Calcutta, is another stop in the journey in search of Sri Lankan evolution.
Sri Lankan prehistory dates back to more than 125,000 years, and findings in excavations in places like Delft in Jaffna, Pompiripu, Dambulla, Ibn Katua have proven to be of key importance to understand what took place in the past. The Balangoda man is one of the primary natives in Sri Lanka. Based in the central hills of Sri Lanka, the prehistoric man moved to the plains in the east, the trail now followed by Newsfirst in search of more clues. The hunter-gatherer moved from Rasagala to Ilukkumura and down to Calcutta. Travelling on the road along the Samanalababa tank, we were highly taken up by the beauty of this area. A vehicle can move only up to a certain place, and from there we move into the wilderness of the Samanalababa Forest Reserve from its eastern end. The excavation site is located around 2 kilometers into the wilderness. Today's excavation site is located 240 meters above sea level, a cave known as Udupian Galge, which is 22 meters in length and 12 meters in height. Professor Raj Somadeva, who is at the site, explained that during the historic period, construction of tanks and pagodas did not take place at once. Therefore, what led to the prehistoric man to engage in such activity and even adapt to such a situation? Professor Raj Somadeva notes that the objective of this expedition is to investigate the migration from the hills to the plains of the prehistoric man in Sri Lanka. Rasagala and Ilukumbura, in which excavations were conducted in the year 2015, belong to the wet zone. However, Udupian Galge is based in the dry zone of Sri Lanka.
Actually, we are investigating how and why the Holocene, late Holocene hunter-gatherers transformed towards farming. So this is a series of research excavations. We did early excavation in Rasagala cave in Balangoda last year, and then moved into Lukumbura cave. We found burnt seeds plus stone implements and varieties of bone implements and so on. So we dated the Lukumbura materials to 6,350 years back in the history. So we are trying to get another sample of important archaeological evidence from Deavinna cave here in Udupian Galge. So we expect to send all the samples we received from this excavation to the laboratory soon. So we hope we would be able to get hopeful results that indicates how the hunter-gatherers transform into farming in our history.
The Udupian Galge Falls, located right next to the excavation site, adds more beauty to this rarely visited environment. There's a small opening right next to the falls, and it has been turned into a muddy area due to the actions of persons who search for a quick flow of money by engaging in the gem trade. Many clues into Sri Lankan history are buried under mounds and mounds of earth. And to search for these clues, you need to dig deep. And the pit I'm in here now, in Udupian Galge, in Deavinna, is not an ordinary pit. This was dug up to search for more clues for our history. History of where the origin of Sri Lankans came from. Was it from somewhere else, or was it from here at home? Details of the excavation that takes place here tomorrow on Newsfirst.
More local news. Few entry points to the Yala National Park were renovated and declared open today.
The renovation of the entry points to the 3rd, 4th and the 5th zones of the Yala National Park were done with the assistance of the Ministry of Housing and Construction.
As per my knowledge, an elephant, a tiger, a bear and all mammals are a public resource of the country. They are public property. So therefore the laws that protect public property is applicable to them as well. I make an appeal from the subject minister. The laws that are in place, if hunting is carried out, needs to change. The law aspect in the wildlife field should be more active. Recently, a leopard was killed. Our people have granted them bail. We will not tolerate this. We will take this judicial process very thoroughly. There is no politics, there is no dealership.
On that note, we wrap up this edition of Primetime News. I'm Joel Outskun. Take care and good night.